Hello, my name is Cesar and I'm a sound engineer that specializes in immersive sound and accessibility from the University of West London. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to use sound as a language to make films accessible and immersive for visually impaired audiences. I will do this by exploring how predictable sound effects, 3D sound, and extended audio description can enhance their engagement and visual understanding when watching any film. My slides have a science fiction feel that resemble a white spaceship. As I introduce a new topic, they will move forward, opening a new path and holograms. I was able to do this research project thanks to the support of the Royal National Institute for the Blind, Harry Gay Phonics Group, and also an organization called Noisy Vision. In the first stages of my project, I was conducting one-to-one sessions with the 15 participants that took part in my research. I met one of the participants who, at the age of 16, was diagnosed with Usher syndrome, which made him blind and partially deaf. When I asked him how this condition affected the way that he enjoys visual entertainment, he told me this. We live in a visual culture, but people do not realize that every action, every movement, and every emotion has a sound. Despite the negative effects of my sight and hearing condition, I learned to see the beauty of the world through my ear. When I watch a film, I connect the dots to create a picture, and only one sound can help me to draw 1,000 pictures. This is such a strong statement on the importance that sound has for visual entertainment. The role of sound in audiovisual media has been studied across multiple disciplines, but the research by Kenner and Randy showcase the 4 pillars that are important to know about the role of sound. Sounds can be narrative, informative, atmospheric, and nowadays we experience how sound can also be immersive. Audio description is meant to be that bridge between the visual and the sonic world for the visually impaired. However, the role of sound can be obscured due to audio description, which can lead towards many other scripting faults, such as the excess of information, the intelligibility of the soundtrack, or even the patronizing of the soundscape of the film. But audio describers face so many limitations when they are trying to describe the visuals of audiovisual media. But that bridge that audio description is meant to build is limited, as audio description has a really limited amount of time to convey visual information, and also because audio description is not part of the post-production process. In this research, I tried to understand how sound could be used to replace or support audio description at certain points of their cinematographic experience. My participants enjoy audio description through 3 main streaming platforms: Netflix, the BBC iPlayer, and Amazon Prime. When I did the analysis of the questionnaires, I was really surprised for 3 elements that all the participants agree with. The first one is the fact that audio description doesn't convey as much information as the one that they feel sighted people can perceive from visual perception. This represents a limitation for them to be in sync with the representation of the visual elements on a film, and was especially noticeable in the description of costumes, the description of camera work, the description of the character's physical appearance, and also the locations where the film is taking place. The participants also agreed that sounds can be obscured or even patronized by the audio description, which doesn't allow them to listen to those sounds that can picture as much as visual or verbal cues. And the last one is the fact that audio description is the only method that they have to enjoy visual media. As sighted people, we can choose between 2D, 3D, 4D, and more. But visually impaired audiences also want new ways to enjoy their visual content. So taking these elements into account, I've decided to take influence and test some sound alternatives that have been studied in previous research by Lopez, Sanchez, and Middleton, and also to develop a set of new alternatives that could extend the way visually impaired audiences listen and retain information from audio description and immersive sound. I used a film called How to Be Human as the case of study. I created and developed the original concept for the audio description version of this film that is available on the YouTube channel called Dust. This set of alternatives gives the opportunity for audio description to be supported, replaced, or even extended. For the support of audio description, we have an alternative called 3D sound. When hearing a film over headphones or on a television, sounds are normally located on the left, the center, or the right. But this alternative uses a technology called ambisonics and binaural recording, which allows sounds to be recorded from different locations and recreates the illusion that sounds are coming from the same room as the listener. For these alternatives, audiences were able to use a head tracking device over their headphones. This small tracking device is as small as a AA battery and allows the listener to explore the scenery by moving their heads. This alternative was effective for the participants to understand the direction, position, and even distance of the elements in a scene and made the characters, actions, and even the location of certain ornamentation not necessary to be described. This provides the audio describer with a great opportunity to emphasize their translation on elements that cannot be described through sound specialization, such as colors, sizes, and even shadows, which was one of the elements that the participants said that they would like to listen to the description of. The second alternative is called enhanced sound effects. This alternative follows the concepts studied by Rodero, Lopez, Middleton, and Kerner. And the main objective is to record new layers of sound effects to represent as many visual elements as possible so audiences can recognize their presence without the need of audio description. The use of navigational sounds, predictable sound effects, and sound signifier help to recreate an audio reconstruction of the visual events of a film. This alternative also provides an extra coloration to the audio description, which is useful when describing the facial expression, actions of the characters, and also to understand the setup in which the film is taking place. 3D sound and enhanced sound effects provide something that Brangman calls the sound and effects resources. So enhanced sound effects provides the content, what is happening, and 3D sound provides the zone, where is happening. These alternatives help to form more images in the audience's mind, which adds more value to the audio description and helps to strengthen the context of the message delivered in the film. We know that visually impaired audiences want to know more about the visual field, but there is no more time for the describers to fit all the visual elements. This is why I decided to take influence from audio description in theater and tested an alternative called audio introduction for films, as studied by Fryer. Actually, when audio introductions are implemented on a film, it only relies on the description of the translator. No sounds or music cues are added to this description. So what I've decided to do is to work under a concept called context availability and elaboration by Atwood, which helped me to develop a concept called sound introduction. The way that it works is that the audio describer will provide a detailed description that will then be supported by a sound cue. And that sound cue will be then used before the film for association and during the film for recognition. These sound elements will be used as a sound signifier that will allow audiences to remember the description provided before the film. This alternative was the favorite among the participants as it allowed them to further understand the visual features in a film and to clarify the elements that would not usually be described in a standard audio description, such as the visual setup, the camera work, the character's complete physical appearance, etc. One of the participants told me that every time that she watched a film, she always felt that there was a barrier between herself and the content that she was watching, but that thanks to all these alternatives that I'm proposing that are based on sound and audio description, she could finally feel as one with the content that she was experiencing. All the participants were excited to realize that audio description can have a new degree of novelty when mixed with 3D sound and enhanced sound effects. The results of my research show that the participants were able to picture more visual elements in their imagination, which allows them to further connect with the narratives of the story and to have an accurate representation of all the plot elements in it. The entertainment industry should allow audio description to be used as a translation and art form. This is because audiences are hungry for new forms of entertainment, and the future of audio description should be to provide hyper-personalized experiences where audiences can choose the description that fits best their needs and expectations. And this can be possible when audio description and sound design work together to deliver a more vivid and emotional language that allows audiences to paint through their ears. The audio described version of the film How to Be Human is available online and has become the first and so far only film with audio description for a YouTube channel called Dust, so it can be enjoyed for their over 2 million subscribers. Please check it out and let me know your thoughts about it. You can find me on cesarportillo.sound@gmail.com or on my Twitter at c_portillo_. Once again, my name is Cesar Portillo.
Fade to black.
And thank you very much.